Autonomous. This is 93 Drive. Today we're driving the 2010 Mercedes E63 AMG with a 6.0 liter V8 producing 518 horsepower and 465 pounds of torque. Made it to a 7-speed transmission. We'll get it from 0 to 60 in just 4 seconds, and it'll cross the quarter mile in just 12.5. And have a top speed of 155, but if you do get the performance package, it will go up to 186 miles an hour for a car that is absolutely mid-sized 4-door. So with that being said, not only that, it's got the famous M156 engine, which we'll get that to in just a minute. So with all that being said, let's get this show on the road. All right, here we go, driving the E63 AMG. I gotta tell you, so far it sounds pretty good. It's pretty calm. The steering's pretty light. Well, it gives you a little communication, but not a lot. Just have the bolstering seat, so whenever you do a turn, they bolster on the side that to hold you in place. So it's always kind of nice. And you always have that burbling sound in the background. So back to what I was saying earlier in regards to this engine, the M156. It came out back in 2008. It was introduced in the well, first it came out in the CLK63, but later on it came out in the C63. And one of the biggest issues that it had, it was the issue with the head bolts. If you need the original head bolts, they would put the engine together. They had a flaw. They would snap in the top. And then once they would snap, you'd have coolant going into the engine. And you wouldn't know that until finally you would have a coolant light on the dashboard letting you know that you need coolant. At that point, it was too late. You had already ruined the engine, so you'd have to end up doing a top-end engine rebuild. I've had that issue. I had a previous generation of this car was the same engine, and my head bolts did go, and it was a very pricey. I went to some certified mechanics, so obviously rebuilt my AMG engine, and that cost me about $5,000. So when you're looking for a car from this era, especially with this engine, you got to make sure that those head bolts have been replaced. The issue was taken care of, rectified later on around 2013 or so, where at that point Mercedes, there were so many issues and customers complained that Mercedes did do something about it. So if you do find one of these, make sure the head bolts have been done. Otherwise, it's pretty much basically a race engine. So, and you can just hear how great it sounds. And this engine, you're not ever gonna hear these big V8 engines anymore. So this is one reason why I'm looking at this car, because remember we were talking last video in regards to replacing our friendly Subaru, but this gave us a great opportunity to come and take a look at this, so and take it for a spin. So let's give it a little gas. Yeah, this thing will get you in trouble pretty quick. All right, let's do a turn around, and we'll do a little standstill and see how quickly she gets up and moving. And then we'll head back and we'll do our final thoughts later on and our way back. All right, here we go, Mara. It's pretty quick and just merging onto traffic, that's for sure. And that engine note is just intoxicating. As you can see, it is a hot day and also a smoky day here in Washington, D.C. due to the fact the fires in Canada is affecting us as well. I mean, it's pretty quick right off the launch. I mean, we're just merging into traffic, so we weren't able to do a standstill, but I can tell you that you can tell this thing is fast. The only thing that I would question is, like, would it roast the tires? Because, I mean, that's a lot of power going to the back wheels. So one of the things that you will always have to keep in mind in regards to these cars is that you'll always roast those back tires. So, but it's just intoxicating. All right, let's see how she pulls from 2,000 RPMs at 40 miles an hour. Hammer down. Yep, it is pretty quick. So let's head back. We'll do some final thoughts on the way home. It sure is nice to be able to see that three-pointed star in the hood though. I do miss that. All right, let's head back. Alright, so we drove that E63, and when I was taking it back, we found this, a C63 AMG 2009. And it sounded that evil and mean. The steering is just a tad bit more precise. It feels more nimble. It's ready to roast those tires. This is an entertaining car. You know, I told you in the video how much I love that 350, but I also like the C63. And let me tell you, so far, I think that I've fallen in love again. So, a little twist to our video. Let's head back. Just listen to that engine. What a marvelous machine. Old school like the C350 we drove, except for this one is got the AMG display. Alright, let's head back and then we'll do our final thoughts all the way around. The seats are amazing in this car. This is what really makes the car, the seats. So, like I said, let's head back. A little gas. Alright, here we go with our final thoughts in regards of the 2010 E63 AMG. Couple things when you're looking for a used car right off the bat. Make sure you get this, the car facts report. In here, it says that the car that we just drove, the odometer has been rolled back. When questioned, the salesman, his response was like, oh, this happens from time to time when a car goes into a shop and the mechanic misreads the odometer reading. Interesting way of putting it. Other things that I've noticed in the car, just off the bat, there was a crack in the screen and the infotainment system. Same thing, salesman's like, you can live with that, not a big deal. Same thing, I said, well, the knob for the volume doesn't really work. You have to kind of play with it. Salesman's response to that is, well, you'll get used to it and you'll learn how exactly where the point is. Okay? A couple interesting things there, right? Quality of car, yeah, it had the cataracts on the headlights and they need to be buffed out. The leather inside was not 100% perfect. You could tell that it's obviously the car comes from the south. It's been beat up a lot by the sun. Obviously, we're enjoying this curvy road right now while we're chatting. And, you know, those are things that you need to look at when you're purchasing a car, especially a German car of that magnitude. Other thing that I don't know if you guys noticed, but the car was also misfiring. And now, that could be a couple things. For one, that M156 engine, and if not well maintained, it is a bomb ready to explode. As I've mentioned before, I've owned one before where I had to change the head bolts, where I had to do a complete top engine rebuild, and that cost me about $5,000. So I think this car has not well maintained. 3 owners, odometer read the odometer reader back. You know, there's a lot of red flags there. It also was nice to be able to see a C63, which was in really good condition. The other thing is, like, would I be able to live with those bolsters? Because the seats are very heavily bolstered. And even though I am not the thinnest guy, but I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm sure doing a whole day, it would probably get a little bit uncomfortable. But with that being said, if I were to go with the C63, I would probably want to go with the later version and perhaps even maybe a 507 edition. Now back to the E63 that we drove. Fantastic car in the way it actually drives and handles. The sound of the engine sounds good. Even though it was misfiring, it still sounded great. There was a lot of feedback coming back from the steering wheel, and it's good to be able to, if you're looking for the last generation 6.3 liter V8 natural aspirated, I would go with 2010 to 2011. It's the last 2 years of that body style with that M156 engine. So if you find one that has been well maintained, one owner or even two owners, but like I said, it's had all the issues done, it would be a good candidate. Those are my thoughts with it. Size is perfect. You can adjust the transmission. On the earlier version, which is the one I had, you know, you had the 7-speed automatic, but you could just only go from sport, comfort, and that's pretty much it. With the newer generation, yes, you can actually go ahead and switch it to different modes. So it makes it a tad bit more entertaining. So our search is going to continue. My heart, after driving the E63 and driving the C63, I really do think that it would be best to have another naturally aspirated V8 in the family. So we're going to keep looking. We're going to find the right one. Unfortunately, that was not the right one. Unfortunately, the salesmen are salesmen, as we all know them. We don't, you know, car salesmen are car salesmen. So those are my thoughts. But that 518 horsepower, 465 pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. With the performance package, you get it up to about 186 miles an hour. Yeah, how could you go wrong? So let's keep on looking. I really do appreciate everybody's support. I'm sorry that it had taken me a little while to post this video, as I've been spending a little time with my daughter since it is summertime. But new videos are coming up. I got a great new car coming up to show you guys that a dealer is nice enough to open the doors and come take a look at it. So with all that I have just said, if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do subscribe. Thumbs up if you like this video. Do comment. It always does help the channel grow. That way I know exactly what direction you want the channel to grow. And more importantly, ding that notification bell. That way you know when the next video is coming. I really do appreciate support. Once again, thank you so much. I hope everybody's had a fantastic day. I know it is extremely hot here in America. Please stay cool. You know, it's 108-degree weather. It's not good for us. Drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated. Those are my thoughts. See you guys very soon. Bye.